Recording in progress.
Just like we're ready. Just like we're
All right, y'all, what's going on? Welcome. Happy morning, everybody. Let me get it together right quick. Put a one in the chat if y'all can hear me clearly. All right, Hassani, what's going on? Good morning, Mark. How's everybody doing? Put a one in the chat if y'all can hear me clearly. We getting together for some morning meal prep. Let me go ahead and get it together. Get the vibe going. All right. So a lot of the times I do the meal prep at night, but I figured, you know what, I'll do it in the morning and kind of share some of that with y'all. And also, you can call in. There we go. Kim, good morning. What's going on? You can call in on Zoom if you want to pop in, ask questions and whatnot also. So let me go ahead and drop that in the Tribanoa chat before we get started. And let me see if I could do this. So basically, for those of you who are in the public square or tribe members, I've put in the community the link to call in on Zoom, so you can pop on the mic and ask questions and whatnot, right? So let me see here. Abdullah, what's going on? Good to see you. All right, Kim just popped in on the Zoom. There we go. So yeah, definitely y'all can watch on either or, pop on the mic, ask questions. And basically I'm gonna talk a little bit about what my week is looking like for meal prep and whatnot. Stacy, what's going on? Good to see you in here. Virginia, got my tribe folks in here. What's going on? Good to see y'all in here. All right. So I gotta prep my overnight oats. I'm not eating overnight oats today necessarily. This is stuff mainly I'm gonna have for tomorrow. Today basically it's just gonna be like a fully raw day. Just fruits, nuts and seeds, salad greens, mushrooms, sunflower seed kernels, all that good stuff. Right? So, but tomorrow is not necessarily gonna be that much of a raw day. So I'm kind of alternating, right? I'm still doing, you know, when I have the fruits and whatnot, I just default to that. But, you know, when we run out or things are not right. So if y'all notice here in the corner, I got my fruits. So I got about 4 honeydew melons, right? So I got to check to see which one is ready for me to cut into. All right. So I think this one is ready. So we got a little bit of give here. So it's a little softer. All right, so I'm gonna cut into this to this honeydew here. All right, so that'll be what I start with. Right. So let me get my cutting board. But the other three are still pretty hard, right? So today basically is going to be like a honeydew and grapes kind of situation going on here. All right. And then I'm going to do curry chickpea with tofu. And I think, what else should I do? Well, we'll see how things go. Yeah, so let me start with this honeydew here. See, my diet right now is like super easy, right? It's just fruit, nuts and seeds, leafy green vegetables, and I have like I've been doing this smoothie. I really like doing this smoothie. I gotta share this with y'all too. This smoothie, I put burdock root powder in my smoothie. Right? So usually I get like the burdock root, chopped and sifted burdock root, and I put that in a tea. This is a powder. This is a burdock root powder. And I put this in my smoothies, right? It tastes so good. For some reason, it tastes like chocolate too. So like, I'll put in plant-based milk. I'll put in powdered peanuts. I'll put in 5 grams of creatine, 5 grams of glutamine. I put in pea protein. I put in like 3 tablespoons of hemp seeds, a 1/4 teaspoon of sea salt. I put 2 drops of vanilla flavored liquid stevia and a teaspoon of the burdock root powder. And this stuff is phenomenal. So yeah, that's the recipe for that one that I do there. And when I go to the woods today, wasn't able to get up yet to go to the woods, but when I go today, I'm gonna bring my seeds. So I save the melon seeds. And I like to bury the seeds in the woods. I'm curious if anything will pop up, if anything will spring up. I think I saw from last time, because I was doing it this summer too, and I think that I saw something pop up too, that I wouldn't say I planted it. I mean, I buried some seeds, and I was doing that this summer. And so I think I'm starting to see some growth, so I'm gonna have to veer off the beaten path to go back to where I planted them seeds. I marked where I planted the seeds with this tree branch sticking up, right? So I know when I see it because I put it there, so I remember where it's at. So I have these designated spots where I scatter melon seeds. So like if I had land, it's kind of like if I had like, land, I would basically turn my land into like a food forest. That's what I would do. I would just have all types of fruit trees and stuff growing. Of course, depending on the climate, that would determine what you can grow. I'd probably like want to build some type of greenhouse, right? Some type of climate controlled greenhouse sort of situation, right? Yeah, so let me get these seeds in here. So one of the best ways that you can start your morning is with melon. Cantaloupe, honeydew, muskmelon, watermelon if you could still get it. And let me tell you something, for those of you, I've been having a lot of really good results with people who are diabetic. And we've been able to like get people to drop like their numbers, like their blood sugar numbers, by like 100 points within like a matter of like a week or two, right? And you can really show a lot. You can really see a lot by how your morning blood sugars improve, right? Because for people who are insulin resistant and deal with chronic inflammation, will have very elevated blood sugar in the morning before they even eat anything, right? And so when you start off with like the melon and you have like this more raw diet, this will drop your blood sugar even faster than fasting. You know, like people talk about fasting like it's the holy grail for improving blood sugar. And it's like, maybe, kind of, but not necessarily for diabetic. Right? If you have a beautiful sugary diet, you actually drop your blood sugar. You improve your blood sugar numbers much faster when you eat these types of foods, right? I'll explain why that is in a second. All right. Melon is buttery. And it's kind of technical how it works, right? But, you know, people will say, oh, all that fruit, isn't that too much sugar? And it's like, well, no, not necessarily. And the reason why is because blood sugar, you don't get high blood sugar just simply because you're eating a lot of sugar, right? That's actually not the case. You can cut all the carbohydrates out of your diet, or you could just not eat at all and still have high blood sugar. Which a lot of people would say, how come, like, even though I'm barely eating, my blood sugar is still high? So I have to tell them, it's like, well, high blood sugar is a result of metabolic stress. It's not really caused by just simply eating sugar, right? Eating sugar actually would improve your blood sugar numbers, but it depends on what the sugar in your diet is accompanied with, right? So for example, for fruit, if you increase your vitamin C intake, right, and you increase your potassium intake, and you stay very well hydrated, you'll actually get much better blood sugar numbers doing that. The reason why is because you're improving your cardiovascular health and the health of your blood itself, right? So a lot of the times people will have high blood sugar because they have poor blood health. Their blood is kind of stagnant in their veins, right? So there is this thing that you need for oxygen uptake in your blood, right? One of those key things is nitric oxide, right? Nitric oxide basically is what facilitates the uptake of oxygen into your blood cells, right? So that your blood can transport oxygen to all your cells of your body. So when you get this nitric oxide released into your bloodstream, that dilates your vascular system. You get more oxygen, more thermogenesis, and this ultimately improves energy production in your body. And it allows for faster delivery of nutrients to all of your cells, right? Nitric oxide is actually like a big pre-workout supplement thing, right? Where they'll have supplements basically that are just nitric oxide and like caffeine and stuff, right? So what's interesting is vitamin C is actually a key component in the synthesis of that nitric oxide, right? So if you wanted to increase nitric oxide levels in your blood, in order to get better blood flow and better blood oxygen and stuff, you increase the amount of vitamin C in your diet. So a fruit-based diet is very, very rich in vitamin C, which is the reason why it's so beneficial for improving blood sugar. You just get better blood oxygenation. Fasting doesn't really necessarily improve blood oxygenation. It can. It depends on what you do during your fast and what herbs and things like that you consume during your fast. Right? But when you get an abundance of water and vitamin C, like with this melon, this big juice, yeah, this watermelon is not watermelon. This honeydew is so juicy. It's crazy. Oh, this is breakfast right here. All right, this is it right here. So yeah, and this works very well too. If you have elderly family members, one of the best things you can have them do is eat a high vitamin C diet. We're talking about like at least 300% of RDI. Right? If you want to build muscle, even if you want to build muscle, right? Vitamin C, it's extremely important. So with vitamin C and nitric oxide is released from the endothelial layer of your vascular tissues, right? This is very important also if you have high blood pressure, because a lot of the time people who are insulin resistant or just straight up like diabetic, specifically type 2 diabetic, type 1 is a bit different, but similar. You typically will often have high blood sugar and high blood pressure a lot of the time, right? Because ultimately it's a blood flow issue. So if your blood is stagnant, then you're going to have things build up in your bloodstream because your bloodstream is stagnant. So you have to unstagnate your bloodstream by increasing hydration. And when you increase hydration, that raises the ceiling for blood oxygenation, right? So it's very important to understand that. So here's one thing that'll make your life real easy, right? Like you want to do like a fruit-based diet. So you have like these bags like this, right? This is a quart-sized bag. Okay. So you can take a quart-sized bag like this and you could fill it with fruit. All right, so you can do this here. Ooh. And this will be like 20 ounces of fruit, roughly. All right. And I'm gonna weigh it on the scale, on the food scale. I'm gonna tell you exactly how much it is. So we got one, and that could be one meal. All right. So this melon will be like 2 of these bags. All right. By the way, for those of you who are in the Zoom call, who joined in on Zoom, you can actually jump on the mic and ask questions and whatnot as well, right? So we're doing a live call in, right? So I'm in it right now. It's open. How many ounces of nuts and seeds do you generally take a day? Like around 4 ounces, like 4 to 6 ounces, right? It depends on if I'm having avocado. I got to show you all the avocados I got too, because I got like these big, beautiful avocado. So I'm gonna show you those in a second. Avocado is a bit of like a dietary staple for me. Avocado is actually a really good source of folate, right? Which is really good for nerve repair and brain function. And these are like some big, beautiful avocados, dude. I'm a big fan of avocado. I don't really eat many fatty foods, right? I don't really eat many high-fat foods, but let me tell you something. Avocado is one of those foods. If you're gonna have like a fatty food, avocado would definitely be one of those foods. And I've become like a really big fan of honeydew over time. A lot of the times too, when I get cantaloupe, sometimes cantaloupe, man, make me mad. Because I'll have a cantaloupe and they're trying to be hard as hell with a soft spot. And so the soft spot will be growing out of control. So you'll have this real soft spot on the cantaloupe, and then the rest of the cantaloupe is hard. So like sometimes that happens. I hate that. Cantaloupe are also pretty susceptible to mold, whereas honeydew doesn't really have those kind of issues. Honeydew is a more durable melon, right? So cantaloupe is a really good source of beta carotene, but right, for vitamin A, but there's a caveat, because with the cantaloupe sometimes, first of all, You got to make sure you clean your cantaloupe. Make sure that there's no like mold on it or whatever. Don't have your cantaloupe sitting out wet. So yeah, you don't want to take too long to cut it, but you also don't want to cut it too early, right? You don't want to cut into a cantaloupe while it's hard, right? Because that'll ruin it. So you'll just have like a tasteless, hard, crunchy cantaloupe, and you ain't gonna like it, right? So with melon, you got to be a little patient because you got to wait for it to ripen up. So yeah, basically, for people who have blood pressure and blood sugar issues, grapes, melon, and pomegranate are some of the best foods that you can eat. So pomegranate, it's actually really good to have the pomegranate. You can have pomegranate with like coconut yogurt and berries. That's a really good combination. So the coconut yogurt or cashew yogurt or whatever kind of plant-based yogurt. That works wonders for your gut health as well as your blood flow, right? So if you deal with like frequent gas, bloating, constipation, skin issues, things like that, coconut yogurt, and then you add in like, let's say a good 9 ounces or 12 ounces of berries, and it could be a mix of blackberries, blueberries, raspberries, strawberries, things like that. And then you add in, what you call it? Some strawberries. You can add in kiwi also, kiwi slices, right? And then you can add in, what you call it? Well, I'm having a brain fart. Yeah, pomegranate. And the cool thing about adding in those fruits with the coconut yogurt, you can also add in flax seeds or chia seeds or hemp seeds for additional omega-3 essential fatty acids. And that works wonders for improving your gut health, right? Because that's a mix of good probiotic and prebiotic foods, right? To really build your gut microbiome. So if you've had gut health issues, you have like a bit of an overexposure to antibiotics. Let's say you've gotten infections, so you've taken antibiotics for various infections throughout your life. Antibiotics really wreck your gut health. So a lot of the times people will take antibiotics, and then after that, they'll pretty much be having all types of gas, bloating, stomach acid, digestive enzyme issues, and things like that. And that will lead you to have things like fatty liver, diabetes, high blood pressure, all this type of stuff. Right? Let me check in the comments here. That's right, we got my mama doing the chat here. What's going on? Good to see you. Good morning. Yeah, pomegranate and grapes. Yep, that's a good combination. But those fruits in particular, right, when you add in the berries and the pomegranate and kiwi with the coconut yogurt, the cool thing is those fruits are very low glycemic foods. So they work well with the coconut yogurt because basically you can get like a good amount of carbohydrates and whatnot in with the diet, but it's not really going to lead to a blood sugar spike if you want to avoid blood sugar spikes. It's not really going to lead to that because those are low glycemic foods, right? So it's a bit of a dietary hack, right? So if you're going to mix fruits with like fatty foods, it would typically be foods that are lower in the glycemic index, right? So basically, it should at least be like a 50 on the glycemic index, preferably like in the 30s for it to be like low glycemic, right? When you start getting around like a glycemic index of like 60 and whatnot, then that's not necessarily so. I mean, again, because mango and papaya is another really good thing to add into a meal like that, right? But for some of you who have steep blood sugar issues, you may see a bit of a spike with that. Not anything necessarily alarming, but I mean, it may have a bit of a psychological effect when you look at your blood sugar numbers, because some people are like really insulin resistant. All right, so I still have a bit of the honeydew left over. I always have like a few left over. But anyway, so I got my food scale here, right? This is a little messy. Let me clean up here. I'm gonna move this out the way for a second. So this here, I have chickpeas and I have soaked overnight oats. So I'm gonna get to those in a second. Wipe off the counter.
Remsen, do you always leave your melons on the counter, or do you ever put them in the fridge?
Yeah, I typically leave them on the counter because I don't have room in the fridge. Yeah, because the melons and everything, they take up a lot of space. You know what I mean? To fit 4 melons or 5 melons in your fridge, you know, that takes up a lot of space. So
Yeah, I have that problem too.
yeah. But I'll put them away though if there's like if the gnats, like if I'm getting a gnat issue, you know. All right, so I got the food scale out. We zero it out. So we got 1 bag, and this 1 bag is 29 ounces. So this is like nearly 2 pounds. 2 more ounces to get to 32 ounces would be 2 pounds of honeydew. All right, so that's 2 pounds of honeydew, and then this bag is 27 ounces. All right, so this could be like 2 small meals out of the day that you can do. And what's convenient is you can pack these in like a cooler or something, or a cooling bag, and bring it to work, or you could just stack them in the fridge and grab and go. All right, so you could do that. And so now what I'm going to do with this bag here, I'm going to get a 3rd bag. So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna put this in here. And I'm gonna fill that bag. I rinse off a lot. I don't like to have too much mess. I don't want my counters and everything to be sticky. You know. So I like to regulate here. But yeah, so as far as the nuts and seeds and whatnot, and nuts and seeds are a food that you can add a bit more of. Because you don't absorb all the fat from it. So even if nuts are like a high fat food, they can be like a whole 25% of the fat, of the dietary fat that you don't really absorb. It just comes out in your fecal matter, right? Because they're actually high fiber foods. I typically will get dry roasted nuts and I'll get them salted, and dry roasted salted nuts are a thing I like to do because I don't really get, if I'm having a raw diet, I don't really get any salt in my diet. So that's a way of getting some salt in the diet, right? By adding those. If you get raw nuts, it would be a good idea to soak them, right? So you can soak them and you can put them in. You can make plant-based milks and stuff out of them, that type of thing. All right. So now I've got my grapes, and I am going to. Let's measure this out. Well, I actually don't really have to measure it out. I don't have to do all of that. But with this honeydew bag, so I try to get like 10 pounds of grapes a week. I wasn't able to get 10 pounds this time. I think I was only able to get like 6 pounds or so. So I'm gonna put those in it, and I'm just gonna fill this bag. Oh crap! fill this bag with the grapes. I get a little honeydew in with the grapes. Actually, you know what? I'm going to do something a little bit more interesting with this. And one of these bags is actually going to be for the missus here, so I'm prepping for her too. And I'm going to prep her a bag with apple slices. And you can also do this with like banana and things like that. You could do this with mango, papaya if you can still get it. You could do your pomegranate in here. You can throw greens in, make a whole salad in the bag, this type of thing. But this works very well with these fruits. So when you're like, oh, I want to have more of a fruit-based diet, you could just get like these type of, quart-sized bags and fill them up with fruit. And so when you're hungry, you just grab and go. And then you can have your one savory cooked meal at the end of the day. And that could be your diet right there. So I'm gonna show y'all too tonight a savory meal as well. For those of you who were on the Thursday night too, I think I did the chickpea curry one last time. So it's just by coincidence I'm kind of doing it again today. That's one of my staples. But the curry chickpea, the reason why I like it too, is just like a good excuse to add in cumin and turmeric into the diet. Right? So this is just going to be like a sauce that I'm going to make. So y'all see in a second what I'm doing. Kim, how you feeling this morning? How you doing? And the folks on the folks tuning in too on the stream can hear you as well. All right. So yeah, that's about it. Let me try to see if I can squeeze a few more grapes in there. All right. All right, so we got that going. So basically I do the rest of the honeydew with grapes, right? So that's another one. And move this out of the way for a second. And look at that, the grapes out of that bag is almost gone too. And so this is 27.8 ounces. Right, so yeah, you're pretty much getting around like 27 to 30 ounces of fruit in each bag. Right, so you can have like 3 of these bags for the most part and get all of your fruit in for the day. So I think what I'll do, what should I do next? And this is going to be more short term. What I'm going to do, let's get to these oranges. So we're going to get into these oranges and peel these and put those in the bag. And the citrus fruits is like a really good dietary staple too. Sometimes I sprinkle cayenne pepper on the nuts. Yeah, that works too. Juju, what's going on? Good to see you in here. You said there's an echo? Oh, uh-oh. Oh, hold on a second. There's an echo on Zoom. I could fix that. Yeah, because I think I had to do this last time. There we go. Okay. I think I fixed it now. All right. Let me know if there's an echo now. Did that fix the echo?
I don't hear an echo.
Oh, you don't hear an echo?
So
Okay,
I think
good.
it's I think I was still connected to the other community feed, so maybe that's why there was an echo before.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's right. Yeah, if you're on Zoom and you're watching the stream on the site or on YouTube at the same time, that's you can hear an echo because of that.
Yeah,
So
it
that's something to
wasn't.
be
It wasn't
mindful
you,
of.
Coach.
Oh, okay, it wasn't me. So it was fine before then.
No, it was when other people were speaking. They had an echo.
Oh, okay, gotcha. All right. Yeah, so let me know too. And I can't check the comments while I'm, exercising some dexterity with the meal prep. So y'all gonna have to get on the mic and let me know what the deal is. All right, so I'm gonna basically prep these oranges and put these in the bag. I don't have enough oranges to fill the bag though, so I'm actually gonna have to get another. So I like to do grapefruit and oranges, and tangerines and things like that in bulk. You know what I'm saying? Because with the fruits, the way the fruit diet works is you got to really eat in larger portion sizes. Because fruits aren't really like that dense, they're not really that calorically dense. All right. Oh, by the way, too, that protein smoothie that I mentioned earlier, that's like around a good 45 grams of protein too. So for a lot of you, that covers like almost all of your protein for the day. For the ladies, that can cover all of your protein for the day actually. Right? Because your average woman needs around 40 to 60 grams of protein a day. At least according to the available scientific data. And then for men, it's more along the lines of like 60 to 80. Right? Very few men actually need like 100 grams of protein or something like this. Right? So typically you need around 1 gram of protein per kilogram of lean mass, right? The only time you really would need to have higher amounts of protein in your diet is if you don't have that much carbs, you don't have that many carbs or you don't have that much carbs or fat in your diet. So you'll have people who cut all their carbs out of their diet, right, because they're trying to lose weight or something like this, which I don't advise people do. But basically, if you're cutting your carbohydrates and then increasing your protein in place of the carbs, really the only thing that's happening is your body is now just going to have to break down the protein and use that for the energy that it normally would have been using the carbs for. So a lot of that is just unnecessary protein consumption, right? So you're just getting a lot of protein wasting as a result. So it's not really much of a benefit in doing that, right? So your protein needs are actually not really that high. People really overestimate how much protein they need, right? So you do like this really high protein diet like that, it's not age. Right, so you'll see like a lot of like bodybuilders and stuff where they're obsessed with like maximizing the amount of protein they take in, and they get aged. Right, they end up looking old in the face. Right, so I've had people where like they're like, yeah, I've been really trying to get in more protein and whatnot, but like I'm getting like these weird joint pains in my lower back and whoop whoop whoop. And I'm basically just like, well, yeah, I mean, it's inflammatory. You over here ODing with the protein. Yeah, you're gonna develop these issues, gut health issues and stuff, because that's just a lot of excess nitrogen that your body has to clear out. And so when you over accumulate nitrogen in your bloodstream, that's gonna cause some pretty inflammatory issues, right? So. With a given resource, more is not always better. Sometimes less is more, or more beneficial, right? There's like these weird hard spines in some of the tangerine slices. So I'm just removing those. So I just went and got some fruit yesterday. I try not to get too much at a time just to avoid food wasting. Right? I gotta get like a few more pounds of bananas because I got like a ton of bananas. Last week was like a banana week. We're just eating like 2-3 pounds of bananas every morning. It did a lot for my mood too. Let me tell you something. If you're dealing with like a lot of mental health stress, emotional stress, you have a banana week, or you just eat a few pounds of bananas every morning or every day, on this fruitarian style diet, you'll notice you'll get significantly better sleep quality, especially if you eat a bunch of bananas before bed at night. That could be a tremendous benefit.
Do you have your bananas just like that, or do you
Yeah, just
mix it with anything?
Nope, I don't. I typically don't mix bananas with anything. I just have my bananas straight up off the vine. Like I'll just grab a bunch of bananas and just eat them by themselves, just as is, right out the peel. Bananas are high in a chemical compound called what is that called? Polyphenol oxidase. So that can actually neutralize a lot of the antioxidants in the foods that you're mixing them with. So you're going to be careful with that. So according to some scientific data that came out not too long ago, it really re-emphasized this point of bananas neutralizing the antioxidants of the other foods that you mix them with, because of that polyphenol oxidase. Right? So if you're trying to maximize the effectiveness of the antioxidants in your diet, and you don't really want to be mixing your high antioxidant rich foods with the bananas. You know? So it's good to just have them by themselves. So like when I write diet plans, typically for people who are dealing with like a lot of chronic inflammation and stuff like that, if bananas is in the plan, it's typically by themselves. But I'll have specific meals that are really geared towards being an antioxidant rich meal, like a healing meal, right? So like that coconut yogurt bowl that I mentioned earlier with the pomegranate and the berries and the kiwis and all of that, with the chia seeds, and that's a very antioxidant rich meal. That's a healing meal. That meal is specifically meant to build your gut microbiome and help to balance hormones and all of that type of stuff. That's a healing meal specifically. And then also mono fruit meals. One thing I like to do too is you can do an apple with like grapes, right? So you do like a red apple, a green apple, something like that, and you mix it with grapes. And that right there is really good for blood flow. And then also like with these tangerines, you take these tangerines with a grapefruit and grapes. That's a really good blood flow meal. It's a meal that's very rich in malic acid, citric acid, vitamin C, potassium, and vitamin K, just to name a few things. And that's like really powerful stuff for blood flow. So if you really want to improve like blood pressure, if you really want to improve blood sugar, you want to breathe better, let's say if you have asthma or something like that, that's a really good meal to get into. All right. So things like that. So when I put together like a diet plan or something like that, each meal does like a specific thing. Right. So I take like this systematic approach to healing nutrition. Women with hormonal issues like reproductive issues, skin issues, difficulty growing your hair, skin and nails. Avocado is one of those dietary staples I would put in. Speaking of avocado, that's what I'm about to get to next. So we get another one of these quart bags, one of these small bags here. Well, let's see. Oh, the echo was from Kimberly when she said something about the melons, I think. Oh, okay, gotcha. All right. So we got all of these tangerine slices here. And the cool thing about this, right, is this is like really easy. Right? You don't got to cook. You don't have to worry about burning any of your foods or anything like this. This is like really easy. So a lot of what I've been focusing on is how do you simplify the process? And so it don't get any simpler than this. I mean, you just peel it and throw it in the bag, all right? So look at all of this. This right here, especially if you wanted to like clear up your skin, you wanted to significantly improve your blood sugar, your blood flow, this right here. This is wonders for your skin, actually. Citrus foods, oh, it's absolutely amazing for your skin. If you've been breaking out with like acne or little fine bumps on your skin or dry skin, weird skin issues, yeah, this is it right here. And the grapes are a very rich source of vitamin K. All right, so chronic inflammation, you've been having issues like that, infections, grapes. Also for blood flow issues, kidney health issues. The grapes is where it's at. And what you could do with this too, if you wanted to add some greens in with the meal, you could too. You just add the greens into the bag, or like you can add the greens either into the top of the bag or the bottom of the bag. It depends if you want to eat your greens first or last. And your greens are a really rich source of copper and iron. So like, let's say if you're anemic, you can actually add in more iron in your diet. When you combine iron-rich foods and vitamin C-rich foods, that goes towards raising your iron level, right? So vitamin C increases the absorption of iron in your diet. So ladies, if you've been dealing with anemia, and anemia is actually very common among women because you have a menstrual cycle where you actually lose a fair amount of blood during menstruation. So you lose a fair amount of iron with that as a result. So this is a good way to rectify that issue. Now, interestingly enough, as a woman, if you have more of a raw diet, your periods aren't as heavy. So if you've been dealing with like really intense or heavy periods, having more of like a raw fruit-based diet goes a long way towards fixing that issue. So you don't really have to take a medication for it or anything like that. You just mainly just got to change your diet. And you can tell like you have liver issues or hormonal issues when you have an acne and whatnot on your face, because you shouldn't be getting that. Your skin should be pretty clear in your face. All right. So yeah, this is like the raw fruitarian meal prep, basically.
Rampton, do you soak your grapes before you, like in baking soda or vinegar
Yeah, I
or
clean
something
them.
like that?
Yeah, I typically will soak them in baking soda. Where's the food scale? Did I put it away? All right. Oh yes, I'll definitely soak them. So this bag here, 2 pounds, 32.7 ounces. All right, so this is a big one right here. So all meal prep, you can just grab and go. Grab and go the bag. And this is the avocados I was talking about. I got like these big avocados. Right, so I don't like to get the avocados that's already pre-bagged. I would rather pick my own. And this avocado is 9 ounces. Right, so 9 ounces, 26 grams. I think like the biggest avocado I've had is like 32 grams. Oh, I gotta change the battery in the scale. What kind of batteries is this? Do I have AAA batteries? I gotta check to see if I got AAA batteries. All right, so I think I'm gonna do one more. I'm gonna do one more meal, or one more meal prep. Just getting the fruits out the way. And the apples. Apples are a really good detox food. So the apple pectin. Apples are a very rich source of malic acid, so it's really good for your kidneys, really good for your gut microbiome, really good for your vascular health. So the apples are very fibrous, so you don't really eat a whole lot of apples at one time because that'll make you a bit gassy if you got like issues with bloating and stuff. So you want to kind of eat them. You don't want to get too carried away with the apples because you can get some massive gas because of all the apple pectin. So it's a thing you kind of have to ease your way into, right? So you only have like one or two at a time, right? You don't want to get too carried away. But they bind, the fiber in the apples binds to waste and toxins in your gut. So it's a good way to help to empty your bowels and detoxify your gut and your blood, right? You ain't eating no 2 pounds of apples or nothing like that. I wouldn't really advise doing that. But 1 or 2 at a time should do it. And you can also like kind of slow cook apples too to soften them up. So you can make like an apple sauce. You can make apple juice. Right? So like if you have a juicer like what I have over there, you can make apple juice. Right? I got to get a few pineapples too because I like to juice pineapples. All right. So basically, this is half the bag of apples and then the rest of the grapes here. Man, I keep dropping my grapes. It's a good thing I keep my floors clean. All right. And then just fill up the bag. So this here is for my lady. Because she needs them apples and grapes. I'm more of a melon and bananas guy. And grapes. Me personally, I don't really eat too many apples, but my plan doesn't really call for apples. Mine is a bit different. I'm trying to gain weight, so I don't really want anything that's too fibrous to the point where it's going to cut off my appetite. Because apples are kind of fill you up a bit, so you can't really eat too much if you throw in the apples. So I try to be mindful of that. When it comes to my plan, I'm trying to eat more. Since I've ended my alternate day fasting strategy, I've gained back like a good 5 pounds. So I've been gaining weight at like a rate of like a pound a week or so. All right. This bag isn't really all the way full, but that's fine. That's all right. So that's another one. So apples and grapefruit. So basically we've got, this is what the meal prep looks like. So we got the melon, right? So it's really that simple. All right, so now the next thing I got to do, got to put that away. All right, so we got that squared away, and now I got to do overnight oats. So I gotta prep my oats for tomorrow. All right. So this is the oats. I use a sprouting jar lid. Oh, I gotta let that drain out. Okay, so let's deal with the chickpeas while this is draining out. So I'll leave the... I feel like it'll drain out faster if I leave it. Well, we'll see. I'll leave it on an angle. So I'm actually going to mix the chickpeas and tofu. So I'm going to do about like a good, what is this? 15 ounces. So I'm going to do half of this tofu pack. So pretty much this will be like around 7 ounces or so of tofu in this next meal I'm about to put together. Oh, wait, I'm going to actually leave that out. Cut it in these sections. Get some cubes going. There we go. And throw that in here. So these chickpeas are already cooked. And clean off my cutting board. I have a bell pepper.
Chickpeas did you use?
That is like a good 9 ounces of chickpeas.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. So 9 ounces of chickpeas and like 7 to 8 ounces of tofu. All right. So this is like a good building meal, right? Good end of the day meal. Y'all gonna love this one. Hold on a second. I think on the next cooking stream I do too, I'm gonna make my veggie bouillon seasoning. Well, I don't say it's necessarily mine. Miss D put me onto it, the matriarch of the tribe. She had sent me some veggie bouillon, and let me tell you something, that thing had me. I was like, oh, this is what I want. This right here. All right. So I'm gonna make a sauce with this. All right, so. So we throw that in there like that. Just get my seasonings out. So I'm gonna show y'all in a second. I need a tablespoon I need a teaspoon and a half teaspoon. And an eighth of a teaspoon, actually. So I'm gonna do something a little different here. All right, so we're gonna start off with the nutritional yeast. Do 2 tablespoons of the nutritional yeast. I did this recipe on a stream last week, but I'm going to do it a little differently today. So it'll be a little different. Just a tad bit. So now I got curry. Teaspoon of curry. Because I'm going to put more turmeric in this one, and I'm going to put cumin in this one. I got to get thyme also. I'm going to do a red kidney bean Italian style sauce also. So basically I want it to taste like pizza sauce. This would be like a pizza sauce kind of recipe that I'm gonna do next. And then a miso tofu soup. That'd be another one I'd do. All right. So now do onion powder. 1 teaspoon of onion powder. So I did garlic powder, now I'm doing onion powder. I did curry powder, all teaspoon. And next I'm gonna add sea salt and raw sugar. Right, because we don't want it super bitter. And then I'm gonna show you, and then I'm gonna tell you how I'm gonna use this. All right, because you can make it as a soup or a sauce. And I'm basically gonna use this as like a, I don't know, should I do a soup or a sauce? Maybe, I don't know. It depends if I want to add it to a salad or something like this, or actually no, I'm gonna make it into more of a soup. I'm not gonna do a sauce because I already have a dressing. I already have a salad dressing in it. All right, so raw sugar. So 1 teaspoon of raw sugar, 1 teaspoon of sea salt. And we got parsley. Parsley is a really good source of iron, copper, vitamin K. And it also binds to, I'm actually gonna add a bit more of it. I'm gonna add 2 teaspoons of the parsley. Parsley is good for detoxifying your body from heavy metals. So if you want to detoxify from heavy metals, oh, actually dill. I can add some dill, right? So I'm gonna add a little bit of dill. I'm gonna eyeball it a little bit because this is a last minute decision. So I figured that's like what, like a half teaspoon or so of dill. And ground cumin. And I'm gonna add in 1/8 of a teaspoon of cumin because this stuff's real strong, so you don't need to add that much of it. Yeah, there we go. All right. And now I'm going to add in what else am I going to add in here? Turmeric. Make it golden. All right, so I'm going to add in turmeric. Boom. So I added a lot more of the herbs to this, right? With the parsley and the dill. So you add in things like parsley and dill. It's going to be really good for detoxifying from things like heavy metals, fungus, like mycotoxins also. So I'm just going to add in some water. Just a little bit.
Is there any sub for the parsley? I don't do parsley.
Yeah, so you can sub in thyme. So
Cilantro?
thyme and yeah, cilantro is a bit of a different flavor. You could, but it's very different. Cilantro I would put in that Italian seasoning one. But I mean, it depends. There's no reason why you can't put it in though. It's not like it's going to be bad necessarily. All right. You remember last time when I ran the blender and I muted the wrong mic so I could hear the blender going? I'm gonna try to. Let me see if I can get it right this time. I'm gonna see if I can get it right this time because I gotta run the blender, and while I'm running the blender, I'm gonna see if I can check y'all comments here. First. Here we go. All right. So we back. I just had to clean up the sink a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Keep it clean. I may need to run the blender a second time if it's too thick. So we will see. No, that's not too bad. It could be a little bit creamier. So we're gonna do. We just add a little bit more. So I'm going to run it a second time. So I'm going to mute up one more time. So now let's see what we got.
Hey, Coach. I have to take off, but I will catch up with you in a bit, okay?
Miss Juju, oh, you had to jump on the mic and let them know you killing the game. So big shout out to you and your success so far. Yeah,
Thank you. I appreciate it.
absolutely. Enjoy your day. We'll talk soon, all right?
Yeah, my number's actually dropped again. I sent it to you already.
Oh, nice. What did you clock in at today?
223 on weight, and then 120 something for sugar.
Look at that. So yeah, you've officially dropped over 100 pounds on your blood sugar, and you've dropped what, 13 pounds in the last how many weeks? 2 weeks?
2 3
Look-
weeks, yeah.
Look at that.
Yeah.
So you're having some tremendous progress so far. Look at that.
Yeah, and I
Okay.
packed up, my tubs, right? I packed up grapes and cantaloupe. I did some juicing yesterday, so I brought celery juice, and then the other juice is the apple, carrot, and cucumber. And then I had my
Right.
tea and my water and stuff like that. So, yeah, I'm good for today, too.
Look at that. That's dope. All right, cool, nice. Look at that. At this rate, we're gonna have a full reversal. So we're gonna be able to get you. We're gonna be able to get you in the 100s.
Heck
We're gonna
yeah.
get you.
Can't wait.
Yeah, that's right.
Can't
We're gonna
wait.
get you. Let's say next target goal is somewhere in the 180s. So yeah, I'm excited for you. All right.
Yes. All
Absolutely.
right. I hope you all have a good day, guys. Take care.
Absolutely. Talk to you. That's right. Folks in the tribe is killing the game. Yes, yes. All right. So going back to a mason jar here. I think I'm gonna do Mondays. Every Monday is gonna be like a call-in stream. So yeah, definitely tribe members, y'all tune in. Let the folks know how y'all been doing, how your progress has been going. And if y'all have any questions for me, definitely drop your questions. All right. So I'm going to drop this in here. And I'm a little greedy, so there's still a little bit in there. So I'm gonna get the spatula and scoop out the rest of that as much as I can. So let me clean off my spatula first. And I think the next live stream that I do is either going to be one of my workouts or it's going to be like a morning mobility type situation. So I'll show you what the daily mobility looks like. And y'all can even follow along. So that'll be to be announced. So I'll post that in the tribe member community in the public square. So that'll be up as well.
Yeah, I would really like that.
Yes, ma'am. Oh, by the way, Kim, did you start? You're starting the alternate day fasting this week, right? Tuesday, Thursday?
Yes, I'm gonna start tomorrow. I'm a little
There we go.
scared.
No, it's not gonna be that bad. It's a pretty mild one. It's not gonna be that bad.
You're my
Heather,
fasting hero.
Yep. Let me tell you something. You're gonna get some pretty good results from it too, and it definitely is gonna give you a lot more free time because you don't have to take meal breaks. You don't have to do as much meal prep and all that. See, this is why I get the spatula, because look how much is left over. If y'all could see that.
Yeah, that's a lot. That's a lot.
Yeah, see? So that's why I don't like food waste. You know what I'm saying? So we gotta get all of it. Adding the tofu into this too, it creates a good texture because the tofu has a bit of fat in it to smooth out the texture. Because if you just have all carbs, it could be a bit grainy. So you add a little bit of fat to it to smooth out the texture. One thing that could also really smooth out the texture too is if you add thyme. All right. So we pretty much filled up this whole mason jar here. So in this jar, this is like a good 45 grams of protein in here. 50, yeah, like maybe 40, in between 45 and 50 grams of protein in here. I'm gonna say more along the lines of 50. Right in this jar. And you can take this jar and you can either put it in the microwave or in the pot. I like to put it in the pot and put it on a really low heat. And then you can add in like chopped greens, bell pepper, onion, mushroom, sunflower seed kernels, all that. And you can have like a legit stew in the pot, like a soup. Right? You can add in squash and all types of stuff. So this is the meal prep for that. So I can actually do like a few of these. So I can have like 2 or 3 mason jars and make these. So it's like a high protein, savory soup. Right? So I have like 3 of those, like 2 or 3 of those a week. Right? So if you have like an all fruit day, and you basically get in the bulk of your protein at the end of the day. So you get, if you have your all fruit day, and then you have that could come out to like a total of like 70 grams of protein a day. Right? So you can pick up like a good 20, 25 grams of protein from the fruit, and then get another 50 grams of protein from that soup. And whatever you put into it, you can get even more protein from that. If you're that concerned about protein, right? Which people ask me about protein a lot, so that would be the answer to that. So, I like to clean up as I go. So I'm just cleaning up. I clean up as I go, so I don't have all type of leftover dishes and mess. Yeah, so the morning mobility, definitely I can do that. So I'll see if I can aim for... You said I love the way you prep for a couple days in advance. That's what I like to do. Yeah, absolutely. So like 2-3 days in advance I like to do. Yeah. So yeah, the next one I'll do is the mobility one. So I'll set that up for Wednesday, and I'll run the same thing with the Zoom link. But I'll have it up as an event. So the link to the stream, the link to the Zoom, all of that will be up in the event page. So, and I'll send that out in an email to everybody in the tribe and post it in the community. Make sure y'all get that. For those of you who are tuning in who are not currently tribe members, there's a link in the description of the video of the live stream to join. So you can become a member. And you get access to all of my courses if you become a tribe community member. And you can also join the public square for free. And that's when you'll get the heads up for all these streams, and you get the Zoom link to join the call-ins. All right. See, I like to clean out the blender sooner than later too, so because I don't want it like picking up the smells of the food I'm making in it. I hate that. especially when it's something pungent like curry and turmeric and all that, cumin. I'm particular about
That's a nice
smells.
brush that you're using.
Oh yeah, I love this thing. It's
Yeah, it's
amazing.
nice.
So I do a lot of cleaning. So I got all type of cleaning things. So
You're gonna have to get me one of those.
that's right. I will actually post the link to this brush in the community. You just had to remind me because I got a lot of things.
yeah,
Yeah, because I got a lot of things I'm floating around in my week and in my head.
because I'm
So-
looking at how easy breezy your blender cleanup is, and mine never looks like that.
Oh yeah, yeah. There you go. Yeah, if you're trying to clean out your blender with like a sponge or something like that, that'd be a bit cumbersome. So the last thing I got to prep here now is the overnight oats. So I had soaked these oats overnight. So now all I got to do is just mix in the ingredients and we're done. All right. So there's that. I'm gonna let that air out. So I'm not gonna put the lid on immediately because I don't like trapping water and things. Because that can get a little funky. Right? So I like to have things air out. All right. So now we're going to deal with these overnight oats. And you can prep a couple of these at a time. I just did one. But basically, typically for these, I only do one at a time. Because I'm having it like every other day or so. It's not like an everyday thing. It can be an everyday thing. If for whatever reason I can't get the fruits that I need. And I need to compensate with something else. But other than that, I'd rather just do my fruits all day, salads, avocado, nuts and seeds, and have a smoothie or something like that. Put my burdock in there and be done. All right. So now, where is it? Okay. So we put the hemp seeds in here. I gotta fill this too, because I got more hemp seeds that I gotta put in there. So 3 tablespoons of the hemp seeds. And then got the glutamine, the creatine, and the powdered peanuts. All right. So the things I put in here, you can get these things from the Tribe Shop. So I'm gonna put 2 tablespoons of the powdered peanuts in here. Five grams of creatine monohydrate. So just 1 quick scoop. Put that in there. And the glutamine. Yeah, this stream went a lot smoother than the Thursday one, right? I was having all the sound issues, y'all remember? So I sorted it out this time. I was ready. All right. And so now raw sugar, sea salt, pumpkin spice, and vanilla flavored liquid stevia. All right, so I'm a sugar addict, so I make no bones about adding sugar to foods. All right, so you don't have to do the raw sugar to monk fruit, whatever you want to do. So I just do 2 tablespoons of the raw sugar. This is 5 ounces of rolled oats. All right, so as far as the oats, that's how much I use. Oh, nice. She filled the cacao. Well, I'm gonna have to go back to the chocolate oats. All right. So now we're gonna add in the sea salt. So I do a teaspoon of the sea salt. And then pumpkin spice. So I had this big old jar of pumpkin spice and I've been hitting it. So I'm down more than half on my pumpkin spice. We're gonna add a couple drops of the liquid stevia. This is vanilla flavored liquid stevia. I put like 2 in here because this is like, I want this thing to taste like a birthday cake. So I'm even going to add agave to it. So just make a circle or 2, a little ring with the agave. So you're probably like, damn, that's a lot. Ain't that a lot of sugar? So yeah, but I don't really put much fat in my diet, so there's that. But you know, so now basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to just take the plant-based milk and gradually pour some in, and I just want to cover the top. So I don't want to add too much. So that about does it. So I'm telling you right now, if you're a sugar addict, rather than going and getting like, you know, junk food, you make something like that. It tastes real sweet. It's got that, it satiates that sweet and salty craving, but it's a very nutrient dense meal. So it's got all type of zinc and selenium and magnesium and manganese and B vitamins, B1, B2, right? It's got all kind of omega-3 essential fatty acids in it, dietary fiber. So it's got all of these nutrients in it that do wonders for muscle growth and metabolic health and all of this. So this is like a good second meal of the day, right? So like, for example, the first meal of the day would be like the melon and all of that. I'm just gonna mix this in. And then this would be like a second meal of the day, like a post-workout meal. So let's say if I eat like my fruits and in abundance like that, and then I do my resistance training, my 10-15 minutes of resistance training, and then I go out to the woods and I get my trek on, my little hike on, my morning hike. And then, which I'm kind of behind on, because I would have did all of that already, but modifying the schedule a little bit today for the stream. All right,
so that's 5 ounces of oats, right? That you covered in water and you let soak overnight.
Yes. Yeah. So I feel basically I use the water to soak it.
Right.
You know, I rinse it a few times. You know what I mean? Until the water. So I rinse, all of like the whole grains and the legumes and all of that. When it's dry,
yeah,
I'll fill it with water and then I'll rinse it with the sprouting jar lid on. All right. And that's it. And that's a meal right there. Real simple. You see how quick that was? So basically I can have one of these and basically just eat fruits all day. And that would be like a full day of eating. So I would do like a melon in the morning. I do my workout. I go for my walk, my hike in the morning. I come back. I have this, right? And with the resistance band, with the resistance training, with the resistance bands and all that, and then the walk, and I'm out when I'm going out on foot. I'm out for like an hour and a half or so, getting like my 10 or 12,000 steps, whatever. If the weather permits, I'll go out, no shirt on, all of this. So when I come back, I've burned for the day like a good 12 to 1,500 calories. So with this is like a good 900 something thousand calories, somewhere in between 900 and 1,000, closer to 1,000. So I have this as my second meal. So with the melon and then this, that comes up to like around 1,400 calories or so, somewhere around there. Maybe a little under 1,400. And then I just have my fruits for the rest of the day, and I end off my day with, let's say, an avocado and like 4 ounces of like cashews or peanuts or something like that. And that would be like a full day of eating for me right there.
Remsen,
Mm-hmm.
let me ask you something.
Yeah.
I have a lot of chia seeds.
Oh,
Do you necessarily have to soak them in order to eat them? Because I haven't been eating them because I was thinking that you have to soften them up first.
You don't have
So I
to
wanna-
soak them, but you don't have to soak them. But it depends on how much you're eating at a time. Like if you're doing like a whole 3 tablespoons of it or something, I would probably soak them. It makes it easier on your digestive tract if you soak them beforehand with the food. You don't have to, but I would, just to avoid any type of digestive issues. Because they suck up water, chia seeds, and they suck up water and they expand. So if you eat them dry,
Oh.
they're going to expand in your gut.
Oh my
So-
goodness. Okay.
So they eat them dry, they're going to expand inside your gut, and they have like a gelatinous characteristic to them because they have a high level of soluble fiber. So
Okay.
so they if you want to know why, hey, I feel incredibly full in my gut after eating them chia seeds, it's probably why.
Okay. Well, I haven't been eating them, so I haven't experienced that.
Okay.
Okay, thanks. Okay, thanks. Then I start eating them because I heard you talking about them on the stream. I was getting ready for work. I heard you talking about them on the stream, and I was saying, I have so much here, but I haven't been eating them. And so now I just soak them then, and I start eating them.
Yeah, if you got like, especially if you have issues with cholesterol, you're trying to lower cholesterol, your LDL cholesterol, chia seeds is a really good food for that.
Oh, okay, that's good because mine is 57, so I'm pre-diabetic.
What do you mean, cholesterol or blood sugar?
My blood sugar.
What do you mean? What's 57?
My blood sugar.
Your blood sugar is 57.
Yeah.
What do you mean? You mean A1C is 5.7? Is that what you mean?
Yes, I'm 5.7.
See, I gotta watch you. How you get there? What you been doing? You've been doing stuff and not telling me. What you been doing?
What do you mean you gotta watch me?
I'm not gonna blow up your spot here on the stream, but we're gonna have to talk because you've been doing stuff that you ain't supposed to. So we're gonna have to.
No, last year it was 5.4.
It shouldn't be going up.
I just had my blood work
It shouldn't-
done. My blood
yeah, it shouldn't be going up, so-
It's 5.7.
We gotta see what you've been doing because you've been doing something. I know you ain't been following my dietary guidelines if that's happening. So you've been doing something. You've been eating out. You've been doing.
No, I don't eat out. I don't eat out.
No, that's not true. No. I ain't gonna blow up your stream. I ain't gonna blow up your spot on the stream. But we
You know something? Don't even start because you know that I that I always cook. And you know that I've been cooking for years from scratch, so don't even try it.
You cooking what? Yeah, all right. But yeah,
Don't blow up your spot. You know,
We-
Rev said at one time when you was in your 20s and he was coming home with pizza and what is those garlic bread? I mean, just a whole bunch of stuff.
I mean, you're
What-
not blowing
what
up
is
my
the-
spot. I've talked about this, how my
What are
diet used to
those-
be
what are those
terrible.
wings? What are those wings you used to have? You used to bring home those wings.
The buffalo wings.
No, cheesy bread. Buffalo
cheesy
wings,
bread, yeah.
cheesy bread, and pizza. And I never
Uh-huh.
was eating that stuff, and it was smelling so good. And I started joining him eating his stuff. And I really loved the cheesy bread.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you threw me off. You see
This was-
how it is?
Yeah,
You
but
see
this
how
is-
it is when you have children and they
First
bring
of all-
homework and stuff that can throw you off.
Well, let's put the timeline in perspective, okay? Because I haven't been eating buffalo wings
Yeah.
and cheesy bread for like over a decade. You going back like what, 13 years ago? How long? How long ago was that?
Yeah. So
So come on now, I ain't
so-
mess up your diet for no 13, 14 years. Come on now. It's, you know.
She gotta blame somebody. Come on.
I know. Come on now. Let's be real. You going back to all the way to like what, 2013, 20. Well, how long ago was that?
Uh,
But yeah, so yeah, we'll do some troubleshooting and sort it out.
nonetheless, it was your fault.
I got you. Okay. Well, you can blame me. That's fine. But we're gonna sort it out. Oh, you said
So-
what? Hold on. Let me answer some of these questions. What brand is your blender? This is a Ninja blender. It's the Ninja Smart Blender. Delightful
Right.
days. What's going on? Good to see you in here. Just got on. Is green tea with no sugar okay if you are intermittent fasting? Yes. Green tea is actually one of those staples of mine during a fast. So my thing is matcha tea. So I would do matcha during fasts. I don't put any sweeteners in my teas. So I am a bit of a sugar addict, but I kind of have a dual-sided thing. Where it's like, yeah, I don't stray away from sugar in my food, but my teas are bitter. I don't add sweeteners to my teas. So those are meant to be more medicinal. All right, so yeah, that's been the end of my meal prep. But yeah, we're gonna talk. We're gonna get that 5.4 or 5.7 down. We're gonna get that.
It's 5.7.
Yeah, we're gonna get that together because we can't have that. We can't have it. We gotta get that together. We gotta get you on them chia seeds, and flax seeds, and all of that. We gotta get that together.
No. I do eat the flat seeds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I mean, at least you're doing that. So we gotta see. You've been getting them because you got a long work day or something like that, and you stop off and get whatever you getting. Yeah, you're doing that a little too much.
Listen, I have to have my chips.
You have to have your chips. Okay, we're gonna talk about what chips that is.
No, but sometimes you just need a little something extra.
You need a little something extra. You get some extra fruit. You get some extra sunflower seed kernels.
I knew you were gonna say that.
You know.
You
get
know,
some-
I do, but sometimes it just doesn't really like hit the spot. You know,
You mean the
like, I
spot?
have,
They,
like, no,
Listen.
I'll have shoes or something other, and sometimes I just want something a little different.
yeah, something that's going to add to that A1C. Get that score cranked up a little bit. Right? I'm teasing. I'm just messing with you. I can
Kimberly,
poke a
you
little
hear
bit.
this?
I do hear it, but I agree with you. I feel you on that. Some days you just like, oh my gosh. I need something. I feel you. Like you need, but he's right too. 'Cause that whatever that something is that we feel that we need is gonna crank it up the numbers in the wrong way. But
That's
I
Yeah.
feel
right.
you though. I feel you though. I feel you. Like sometimes you just, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you
But
get
I'm saying, how
ambushed
do you
by.
deal with it when you want like? So would you have like that overnight oats that you just said? Like when you want something like a little decadent, a little sweet, a little salty.
Yeah, that's, so basically with my diet, this is why the planning is so important, right? So when I do that overnight oats, like yeah, it's 2 tablespoons of raw sugar added into that meal, but that's 2 tablespoons of raw sugar for the entire day over a 48-hour period, right? So that's my splurging. Because there's not many things I do add sugar to. If I do add sugar, it would be like to the soup or the sauce, but that's like a teaspoon of it, right? So like for example, the herbal teas. So like I do like the burdock root tea, the matcha tea, the ginger turmeric tea, things like this, and that really helps to improve your A1C. Those herbal teas, and you do those like at least 2 times a day. And then like you have an abundance of fruits throughout your day. So like for example, if you add in like 2 or 3 of those fruit bags like that, you can increase the amount of vitamin C that you have in your day by an extra at least 100 to 150% of your RDI. So it's things like that. By the way, Boo Boo, this is you right here. So that's your first. There we go. That's right. So we got some apple and grapes to start the day. But yeah, so you want tea? So yeah, so basically cinnamon tea in the morning, or you can do clove tea, things like this. And these herbal teas really help a lot with cholesterol, blood pressure, blood sugar, things like this, kidney health, and these type of things. So like, when it comes to like potato chips and all that, I mean, there's other things you can do. Avocado with like some sunflower seed kernels and leafy greens. Like you can make you can make a salad, and you can use like agave and like mustard and kind of mix them together to make like a honey mustard kind of dressing. And you can add that to like your leafy greens with onion, bell pepper. You can add in sunflower seed kernels, some crushed walnuts. And then you can add in like avocado and things like this, and that'll hit the spot. It doesn't just have to be potato chips. Potato chips is what? I mean, it's like a crunchy, salty thing. You can get that from like your nuts and seeds and your leafy greens and things, right? So just being mindful of these types of things and planning. Because if you have like a thing for chips, it's like you're having like a salt craving, right? So like, let's say if you get sweet mesquite chips, it's basically just like smoked paprika, taco seasoning, sea salt, and like sugar. And so you can make like a sweet mesquite on your own. And you can add that sweet mesquite to like sprouted lentils. You can add that to your leafy greens with your nuts and seeds and that type of thing. And you can get that same taste, right? But we don't want blood sugar, blood pressure, cholesterol. We don't want these things creeping up on us because like, we got to scratch that itch in the worst way possible, right? So we don't want to do that. You want to be mindful of that, right?
But sometimes I don't want to do all of that.
I mean, you may not want to do all of that, but
Let me stop. Let me stop because I know that you have.
she says sometimes I don't want to do all of that. I'm like, hey, I mean, what
She's
kind of
just
results
saying
you
the
want?
things out loud that we're not saying. That's all.
Hey, look, I hear you. I hear you. I understand. I get it.
I don't want to mess things up for everyone else. So let me be quiet.
And you ain't messing nothing up. You just speaking your truth. That's okay.
I get it. Yeah. I mean, look,
Yeah,
we
but
can be honest here.
Tiffany, but wait a minute. But something. You was talking about that dressing. I haven't done that in years. I used to make a kiwi dressing like that. I used to blend kiwi, turmeric, lemon, and honey. And I used to,
that sounds good.
and I used to put that. Oh my goodness, it's so good. And I used to pour it over a salad. And I used to have lettuce and and fruits and stuff in there, and I used to put nuts and stuff, and I would pour it over. Oh my goodness, so good. Yeah, but I haven't done it in a very long time.
There you go.
Yes, but I love the kiwi dressing.
Well, I mean, you know what to do, and them kiwis is going to get them numbers in check, right? So that's a good thing to plug to.
I've been
to
eating
put
a
over it.
kiwi every morning. I've been eating a kiwi, a banana, and an apple every morning. And sometimes I have a kiwi, an orange, a banana, and an apple, and red grapes. And I have that in the
Okay.
morning before I have my oatmeal.
There we go. Okay.
Yeah. So I'm not all bad.
Oh, I'm not saying you're all bad. I ain't saying all that. You could be doing worse. But we can tighten up. That's all good.
Yeah.
All right. Well, you know what? I gotta get to work. All right.
I'm gonna say bye to everyone also, cause me too.
Yeah.
It was nice seeing everyone and hearing your responses and stuff. It was really good. So anyway, I see everyone.
you too.
And,
You
okay,
too.
everyone.
See you
Absolutely.
Thursday.
Okay,
Yep,
you
Thursday.
too. Yeah, everyone have a good day, and I'll talk to you later. Okay.
Absolutely.
Take care.
Okay.
Bye, Ripton. Thank
Take
you so
care.
much for the time.
Bye-bye.
All right, everybody. Take care. Have a good one, and
Okay,
I'll catch
love-
y'all on the next one.
Okay, love you, sweetheart. Bye bye.
All right. Love you too. Talk to you soon.